Imagine flying over Alberta's diverse landscape, from the Saskatchewan border to the Rockies. You'd see the sprawling prairies, the flowing North Saskatchewan River, but when you get to the boreal forest, the treetops are crimson red, all because of a tiny little pest. This is reality in British Columbia, and it could happen to Alberta if the mountain pine beetle populations are not contained. I'm Janelle Lane, and welcome to part 2 of Let It Burn. British Columbia has seen a huge loss of pine to the mountain pine beetle, and those bugs are taking to the air and infesting Alberta. This beetle is the most destructive native insect pest of mature lodgepole pine forest in western North America. And Forest Health Officer Christy Ward says one way to control the bug population is through prescribed fires. Ward says the goal of burning forest isn't to kill the beetle, but to get rid of the beetle's habitat.
Usually a prescribed burn is put in to not get rid of mountain pine beetle or not control mountain pine beetle, but to get rid of their host.
But before the trees can be set ablaze, the infested areas need to be detected and surveyed.
Mountain pine beetle prefer to stay within, 50 to 100 meters of their host tree. By putting a burn right adjacent to where the populations are, you're making it more difficult for them anyway.
By burning the beetle's habitat along the BC-Alberta border, it will minimize the chance of a major outbreak in Alberta. But if the burn isn't done properly, it could actually increase the chance of an outbreak. Information Officer Maria Sharp says if the fire doesn't completely kill the trees will just get weaker and be even more susceptible to mountain pine beetle.
I guess the fear of starting the fire at a time when it's not ready or not, the indices aren't right, may cause a low-impact fire, and this is a bigger concern for the mountain pine beetle. It'll stress the trees, and then the mountain pine beetle will be even greater attracted to these trees.
So if there is any kind of risk, why burn at all? Well, Sharp says the beetle threat is on the minds of many, and a lot of planning goes into the burn so it is done properly. Sharp has spoken with many people who live and work in threatened areas and says the concern is high, and fire is a manageable solution.
A lot of people are concerned about the mountain pine beetle, and certainly they felt that this is a good way of attempting to battle the mountain pine beetle issue, and they were quite positive about this.
But fire is not the only solution. The pine beetle problem is real, and it is in Alberta. Burning the forest is only one part of the strategy to minimize the beetle risk. Fire is a destructive element, but in this case, it can be used to stop a pesky beetle from spreading across the country. In the last portion of Let It Burn, the experts will reveal the strategies to inform and educate the public. And you may be surprised by how far they have to spread the word before they can spread the fire. For the 11th Hour, I'm Janelle Lane.